with it?
Oh,
Hogwash.
Hogwash. Thank you, thank you.
sure, anytime.
It's good to be in the Pittsburgh area because we're going to discuss all of it. Any fans of the History Channel in here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great, great, great. You're going to love the change. We've got some new programs coming out for the springtime that follow what we currently have on here, which we consider at the History Channel to be real history. You're going to get to see a lot more stuff involving loggers, bikers, cars, construction workers. That's the stuff that makes up history. But we've been taking a lot of concerns lately that they say we don't have the real history anymore. We just do reality shows. We have forgotten what history means. So with that in mind, we are coming out with some new history shows this springtime, and I think you're going to... Fan of the presidents, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We have a new show coming out on Grover Cleveland Alexander.
The Grover Cleveland?
Absolutely.
Oh, all right.
As we know, he had 2 non-consecutive terms of the presidency. What history never talks about is, what did Grover Cleveland do in between those 2 terms of presidency? This documentary, this series, very riveting. We discuss what happens when Grover Cleveland left the White House. This conspiracy that he was, in fact, working as an undercover agent for the French government, in which caused him to be expelled. He was removed behind the scenes from the White House. But he had to make a living. So he pillaged the White House belongings and became a pawn star traveling through the area. Well, the government at the time was not pleased about this. They caught up, where he had to leave the country to go to Canada, where he became an ice road buggy driver, taking medicine for underprivileged Indians. It was at this time, though, that things didn't work. He wasn't the best buggy driver. He moved out into the Yukon Territory, where he became a lumberjack. It was during this time, though, that he received a calling. We don't know what type of calling Grover Cleveland felt, but it's almost certainly that it was extraterrestrial. The aliens commanded him to return to the United States. But, as we recall, what about the conspiracy? The French government, he was a traitor to the United States. Did Grover Cleveland Alexander have assistance through extraterrestrial beings to help him return and become the next president? That will be discussed in this show. But that's not all. We have other shows. I know, is anyone familiar with the show The Vikings?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. We have a new history show about the Vikings. And you see, throughout the ages, it's been known that the Vikings went to the New World. How did they get such information that a world existed? How did they know to map out? We all know, real historians have proved the Vinland map to be a fraud. But at the History Channel, we say, nah, the Vinland map is real. But where do they get the ability to make such maps? Throughout history, they've doubted and debated if early Viking ships had sails. Well, due to new archaeological records, we have found out that the Vikings had, and it only makes sense if you follow me out here, to be able to go across to these worlds and map things out aerially. The Vikings had the very first airplanes. Primitive airplanes that were based upon the navigational movements of hawks. So the Viking ships paddled into the wind. And what you think would be a sail were in fact canvas wings to glide overhead. It's all clearly shown in archaeological evidence, which we will not show during the show. It exists in the ships that we have found that demonstrate the flying wing wooden capabilities, which we will also not show in the show. Vikings, masters of the sky. It should be an interesting program. But we need to look back at some other things. What about English history? Any fans of perhaps King Henry VIII? Well, here at the History Channel, we're looking at a new interesting development along the lines of King Henry VIII. Why did he need so many wives? What was so important? Why was he having disputes with the church? Well, it has now been discovered through new documents found through the History Channel. King Henry is not who he appeared to be. For you see, it is now believed to be King Henry was in fact an extraterrestrial being. His presence was to start a colonization program of alien beings on Earth. And King Henry, to pass upon this new hybrid for the alien conquest, needed submissive alien humanoid creatures to serve the alien overlords. King Henry, though, needed to pass on the alien lineage. The problem being, the alien of King Henry didn't mix well with the Earth women. For you see, he was infertile here to produce an alien lineage. Throughout this time, though, it was discovered. Why did King Henry have to murder all of his wives? It was only revealed now that it was clearly a cover-up, that they were finding out what was going on. That King Henry, the fact, was an alien, not just trying to pass on alien lineage, but take over the world. The aliens could not allow this. So, through outer space, believed to be on what we would now call the planet Neptune, they sent down a laser beam into his thyroid, made him very gluttonous to the earthling foods, where King Henry essentially ate himself to death. All this will be discovered, and a whole lot more, in the documentary on King Henry VIII, Alien Lineage. Now certainly you may be thinking, do we have any real history shows? Does anyone consider it? Do we have any of that? Well, certainly all these shows are real history. And we used to discuss, I'd like to bring up a real flagship show. This is going to really bring back the viewers to the History Channel, to make us seem credible and serious. We're going to look at the famous battle of the 300, the Persians and the Greeks. How could it happen? How could 300 take on an army of the Persians? How could the Persians get past the Hellenes? Well, as always at the History Channel, it comes down to aliens, sometimes robots, and most frequently bikers. Well, aliens wanted to help the Persians to get across. How could King Xerxes get his entire army into Greece? It's inconceivable that real archaeological evidence shows that he built massive bridges. So with the History Channel, we believe that aliens gave Xerxes and his army the power of levitation to merely float into Greece. But Xerxes did not pay the aliens, so they betrayed Xerxes, came over to the Greeks. Now you may be wondering though, how could the Greeks and their allies fight off the Persians? Thanks to new archaeological evidence, the Greeks had alien technology on their side due to new chemical compounds found in the soil that I will not tell you what they are. It's been revealed that the Greeks, their swords were coated in a substance not of this world. they had weapons of alien technology, plus an alien bazooka, where the Persians would come forward, and the Greeks had a massive ion-laying cannon, and just leveled them down by the thousands and thousands. But 300 could not face the hundreds of millions of Persians. So, had to allow the Persians to win. But you may be wondering, where's the alien technology? Well, the aliens beamed up all proof. But we will still discuss that, and a lot more in other shows. With that being said, there won't be seconds. We will have a Q&A right now for all you historyaholics. So, someone has to have a question.
What was King George, was it? No, it was Henry, yes. Favorite food?
Henry VIII, believed to be now discovered his favorite food was in fact English children.
Oh.
I hope that answers your question, sir.
Yes, yes, very good. Very
Keep in mind, I am a representative of the History
I
Channel.
see that, yeah.
I am an authority figure on what
I
I'm
can see
speaking
that.
on.
It's, you're not being boveristic about this.
Oh, no. Not at all. Is there any other, perhaps, question? Yes!
I hope when King Henry came from this alien planet, and he wanted to actually make somebody submissive and subservient to him, I was hoping it wasn't those women.
Interesting question here. You are concerned, was King Henry trying to make the alien women submissive?
No, they are women.
Our women.
Because he came to this planet, and then, who did he marry? But our own.
Could be. Have you discovered a lost secret unknown to the History Channel?
Might be a clue.
Do you have evidence perhaps given you by the aliens themselves? I will be giving you my card later on. We need you to be a new writer on the History Channel. For such thoughts and possibilities are not realistic, but they are on the History Channel. Perhaps we have time for one more question from anyone?
Can the Vikings fly over land as well as water?
Excellent. Can the Vikings fly over land as well as water? Their technology, their boats, their wooden boats, their sailing vessels, the first airplanes of recorded time, could fly over land. But you may be wondering, well, why didn't they go to the west coast of America? Why did they stop in Nova Scotia? Why didn't they go any further? Thanks to new archaeological evidence, it's been discovered that in the year 1000, America was colonized by giant robots. The Viking ships could not get over the colossal 200 feet tall robots that swatted the Viking ships out of the sky. Ended the Viking expansion into America because of the large 200-foot robots. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay. With that, I'm going to go out and sniff more paint thinner. Return my